Now that you really understand why an essential oil works, how it works behind the scenes, the power of it, and feel more confident with choosing your essential oils, it's time to start blending, and blending in a smart way, in a way that will benefit you, in a way that it will be more effective, in a way that it will bring you more results, more control over what it is that you're doing. So I want to thank you for taking these steps to really understanding your essential oils, the immense impact the chemistry of your essential oil has on the final result, on your product, on helping whoever it is that you're trying to assist. And here I will take an example of eucalyptus globulus, another oil that we all know and use and reach out for respiratory system, for example. So if you take a look at eucalyptus globulus, it is another essential oil that is well researched. We have tons of research that is telling you that eucalyptus globulus is the right oil to choose for any infection, really, but usually we reach out for those, and let's just stick to respiratory in this case. If we take a look at all of this long list of how it is used traditionally and in research, again, it backs up, coughs, and then we go to immune system and so on, all the way to all sorts of respiratory conditions. But why does it work? Now that we really know the secret and where the logic is, it's quite straightforward. We can scroll right down to its chemical constituents, and you will see this is another very simple oil. Actually, it is very straightforward. So the majority of what makes eucalyptus globulus and radiata, by the way, and other species of it that are rich in 1,8-cineol. This is a very well researched constituent, and you can go through it and see all the benefits it will bring to any oil rich in this essential oil, in this constituent. In this case, we're talking about eucalyptus globulus. So it makes up almost 70% of the oil. So it is quite straightforward to use and to expect certain things. The next thing, constituent that you will see in a larger percentage is alpha-pinene. And then scrolling through that, you will see that it actually supports very well why our eucalyptus globulus is so effective on so many infections. So now that we understand eucalyptus globulus, I want to address some of the most common misunderstandings and even illusions, and what a lot of people do when they go for blending is just looking at this area. So we're looking for oils that are all good for the respiratory system, and one that we think of beside eucalyptus globulus is rosemary. But now that we have this understanding of why essential oils work, if you take a look at rosemary, and this is the cineol chemotype, by the way, you have different chemotypes, they all have both of these components. So 1,8-cineol plus alpha-pinene. Let me show it to you. So here we have the alpha-pinene in even more, in a higher percentage. So here this one has over 25%, and if we look at 1,8-cineol, it's almost 30%. So we already have both of these that we have in eucalyptus globulus. So if you've been following the videos I've been sharing, this would be wasteful. So blending eucalyptus globulus is, first of all, wasteful in resources, because we have both of these components already in eucalyptus globulus. On top of that, it will be diluting rosemary, making it even actually weaker, because what makes rosemary so special for the respiratory system, it's camphor component. And if you search through camphor, you will find some interesting dynamics it brings to the equation. You will see that it brings things like nasal resistance, decrease in nasal resistance. Here you will see it has a lot of wonderful antimicrobial effect. It stimulates cool receptors in the nose, which we use this also with the 1,8-cineol. It's very useful to, you know, have that feeling of decongestion, and so on and so on. So antitussive. So you will see that camphor brings a very interesting dynamic to rosemary. And in my personal opinion, it is actually quite hard to add anything to rosemary not to dilute its wonderful composition. It's already a beautiful blend. So you might want to add something to eucalyptus globulus, because we are working only with two very predictive chemical constituents. You might want to, you know, boost it up. But rosemary, you really have to understand and think about what can I actually add to rosemary to make it more beneficial, to make it more powerful. And I will of course tell you what that is. So here, just to show you what I mean by diluting rosemary, I blended 1 drop of rosemary and 1 drop of eucalyptus globulus, these exact oils we've been looking at. And although you're right, it's great for respiratory system, it adds up very nicely for, you know, those things that we need. Here it is, respiratory conditions. But if we really understand what we are doing, if we are really in control of our product, you will see that we just diluted rosemary. It looks similar, but with less power. So we have 1,8-cineol, we have alpha pinene, but we have less camphor, and I don't think that is what we want to do. So by understanding the impact the chemical constituents have on your final product, it completely changes the game. You're in full control of what it is that you want for your client or your product or end result. So you will see here, I have less camphor, I have less alpha pinene, I do have a little bit more of 1,8-cineol, but ultimately, in my personal opinion, I just diluted rosemary. That is what I did with this blend. It is not what I want. So let me give you an example of an oil that would benefit any of these, and it is peppermint, for example. So although it does have camphor, it is a different one, and what we are looking for in peppermint, and you can check this out on your own time, it is this beautiful amount of menthol. Menthol will bring even more relief to your nasal congestions, for example. So here I prepared for you an example of eucalyptus globulus and peppermint. It brings it works in synergy. It brings more to peppermint as well as more to eucalyptus globulus. And here I only put one drop of each, so you can play with the ratios to get exactly what you want. Dropsmart will calculate it for you. So here you can see that this combination, just by looking at the color, makes much more sense because it is more diverse than peppermint, and it is surely more diverse than eucalyptus globulus. So this is the smart way to do it. This is it's not a guess anymore. It is an educated guess. We have all the research you can imagine to back up your choice. It is wonderful. So take a look what happens when you blend rosemary and peppermint. It is even more dynamic. We have all the beautiful things from rosemary, but here we have camphor, but we also have menthol, which is from peppermint. So we actually broadened the spectrum of ketones. We also did the same by adding the here some menthol, and it's at such a beautiful ratio. See, it's already enough to have just 2 oils, just 1 drop each, or the ratio 1:1, and look how more dynamic, how more powerful, how more impactful we will be on in this case, respiratory system, or whatever it is that you're doing. Once you understand the dynamics behind each single essential oil, why it actually works. So this rosemary, it works on the respiratory system because of these 3 components. And here with eucalyptus globulus, it's mainly because of these 2. So what can we do then with that knowledge, with that certainty, to make this oil even more powerful, even more effective? And then we blend smart. So here in this, just to conclude and summarize for you, by blending rosemary eucalyptus globulus, you're diluting rosemary. You're taking away from the effect. You're making rosemary weaker, actually. Whereas blending rosemary with peppermint, you are taking the best out of both. They're working in beautiful synergy. So this is what I suggest you take some time in experimenting in Dropsmart. It will definitely benefit your practice. It will save the environment by you using only the oils that you actually need. You will not be diluting your products. You will be making them, excellent, professional in bringing the most power out of the oils that you have. And as you see, these are all the oils I've been using as examples for now. Simple oils that you already know and love. So just getting the maximum out of the products that you're already creating. I hope this is useful, and next time I will show you how to reconstruct neroli. So how to have all of those constituents that make neroli so special from different oils, cheaper ones. So stay tuned and have fun in Dropsmart.